we are kicking things off with the massive shift in the oil and gas sector. The global supply chain control tower market is exploding, and we are looking at how key vendors like SLB, Agility, GAC Logistics, and Logistics Plus are dominating the upstream segment, focusing on rig logistics and heavy equipment transport. This is a game changer for how energy companies manage volatility in the Permian Basin and beyond. Supported by the Truck Automation Corridor project, is transforming daily freight operations and setting a new standard for safety and efficiency. And finally, we turn to industrial growth and technology demand. SFA is reporting double-digit growth in new orders, driven by expanding robotics, logistics, and semiconductor businesses. We break down how SFA's Robotics HM Logistics division and its semiconductor subsidiary are capturing market share, signaling a major trend in advanced manufacturing investment. Stay with us for the full report. The global supply chain control tower market is experiencing explosive growth as the oil and gas industry pivots toward data-driven operations to navigate intense geopolitical volatility and complex global logistics. This digital transformation is shifting the industry from siloed departmental structures to a collaborative framework, utilizing control tower platforms to aggregate data from ERP systems, remote sensors, and geopolitical feeds to establish a single source of truth and reduce the bullwhip effect in energy demand. The market adoption is geographically diverse. North America currently leads global spending, accounting for approximately 37% of revenue, benefiting from mature IT infrastructure and large-scale operations in areas like the Permian Basin. Conversely, the Middle East is rapidly accelerating adoption to enhance operational resilience and manage maritime supply chain risks associated with massive natural gas expansion. Projects in countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, often integrating AI and blockchain for predictive modeling. The Asia-Pacific region is another high-growth area, driven by reliance on energy imports and the vulnerability of maritime choke points like the Strait of Hormuz, making control towers essential for tracking inbound freight and mitigating sudden geopolitical shocks. Vendor landscapes are highly segmented based on the specific segment of the O and G value chain. Upstream operations, focused on rig logistics and remote site visibility, favor specialized industrial technology platforms and 4PLs like SLB and Agility. Midstream, dealing with pipeline flow and terminal operations, relies on industrial automation and SCADA systems from vendors such as Emerson and AVEVA. Downstream refining and distribution, concerned with margin optimization and blending yields, see dominance from advanced process control experts and enterprise suites like SAP and Blue Yonder. Beyond core operational platforms, the ecosystem is bolstered by specialized data vendors. Real-time transportation visibility platforms, RTTVPs, including Project 44 and Forkites, are crucial for tracking maritime shipments and integrating geofencing around choke points to provide instant alerts. Furthermore, risk intelligence providers like Everstream Analytics are integrating predictive AI for weather and political unrest to allow energy companies to proactively manage supply chain risks, enabling them to reroute shipments and prepare crisis scenarios before disruptions physically impact operations. Global instability in the Middle East is fueling elevated global oil prices, creating significant pressure on Vietnam's aviation and maritime transport sectors. While domestic fuel prices have seen recent adjustments, reflecting some government intervention, the upward trajectory of international crude benchmarks, such as Brent crude settling at $109.26 a barrel, is driving volatility. Experts warn that the geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and Iran and the uncertainty surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for global oil shipments, pose a severe risk to supply chains. Nguyen An Quan, an expert at DNSE Securities JSC, emphasized that a closure of the strait could cause severe disruptions, directly impacting fuel costs. Fuel is identified as the lifeblood of transportation, meaning rising expenses are passed down through the supply chain. This effect is keenly felt in agriculture, where fuel accounts for 40 to 60% of farmer input costs, driving up prices for commodities like urea fertilizer and ultimately affecting food prices. The aviation industry is facing the most acute strain. Nguyen Viet Dung, Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam, noted that operating costs are under severe pressure from fuel prices, exchange rates, and shortages. Following the Middle East conflict, jet fuel prices surged, forcing Vietnamese airlines to drastically reduce flight operations. Vietnam Airlines Deputy CEO, Dinh Van Thuan, highlighted that every $1 increase in fuel costs adds approximately VND 300 billion to operating expenses, raising concerns that the second half of the year could see losses if oil prices remain high. In the logistics and maritime sector, cost pressures are mounting. Shipping rates, particularly from Vietnam to the U.S., have increased by about $400 per container slot, and these rates are projected to rise further amid geopolitical risks. Market observers anticipate carriers will continue employing capacity control and blank sailings to manage scarcity, leading to persistent increases in spot freight rates, exemplified by the World Container Index rising 12% this week. Meanwhile, the broader Vietnamese economy shows signs of resilience, with a rally in state-controlled stocks pushing the VN Index to a record high. Furthermore, the government is actively pursuing infrastructure development, including plans for a high-speed railway network and investments in large-scale energy projects, signaling a strategy to foster industrial upgrading and attract international investment. Einride and Ease Logistics have officially launched a proof-of-concept service for Einride's autonomous electric trucks within Ease's warehouses in Marysville, Ohio. The operation will utilize two of Einride's advanced autonomous trucks to begin transporting goods between Ease facilities, testing the technology on both private property and local public roads. This deployment is crucial for gathering real-world data on the impact of autonomous trucking on warehousing, distribution, and overall transportation efficiency. The autonomous vehicles are designed as cabless electric trucks, with a remote operator monitoring the trucks from an off-site location, maintaining the capability to intervene if necessary. This initiative is part of a broader effort, extending the Ohio Department of Transportation and Drive Ohio's Truck Automation Corridor project, in collaboration with the Indiana Department of Transportation. Ease President and CEO Peter Coratola Jr. emphasized the significance of the deployment, stating, "Deployments like this help move autonomous trucking from controlled pilots into daily freight operations, where safety, reliability, and efficiency can be evaluated at scale." Roosbay Charlie, CEO of Einride, highlighted the company's commitment to safety and real-world application. He asserted, "Deploying our autonomous trucks in daily logistics operations with ease reflects years of rigorous development and real-world validation. Safety is not a feature we add to our technology. It is the foundation everything is built on." Our partnership with Ease and the Truck Automation Corridor project is proof that autonomous electric freight isn't a future ambition. It's a safe, working reality today. SFA has reported a significant surge in its first quarter order intake, achieving an 18.3% increase to 217.9 billion won, up from 184.3 billion won in the previous year. This robust growth was primarily fueled by expansion within the robotics, logistics, and semiconductor sectors. SFA has set an ambitious first-half order target of 530 billion won, marking a 63% increase compared to the 325.2 billion won recorded in the first half of last year. The Robotics Logistics division was the main driver of this expansion. Order growth was evident across the Robotics Logistics division, encompassing projects in subsea cable and robotic logistics. Furthermore, demand increased for solutions related to offshore wind power and hydrogen fuel cells. The semiconductor business also contributed positively to the results. Following its strategic entry into the semiconductor inspection equipment market, spurred by its expansion into overhead hoist transport systems for high-bandwidth memory, HBM, manufacturing, SFA Semiconductor achieved impressive first-quarter revenue of 107.3 billion won, representing a substantial 42% year-over-year increase. While the order book demonstrated strong momentum, the company's overall financial results showed mixed performance. On a standalone basis, SFA reported first-quarter revenue of 189.5 billion won, a slight decrease of 4.8% year-over-year, with operating profit rising marginally by 0.8% to 21.8 billion won. However, consolidated figures reflected headwinds, with consolidated revenue falling 9.3% to 361.1 billion won, and operating profit declining significantly by 46.8% to 15.4 billion won. This weaker consolidated performance was largely attributed to sluggish battery business conditions at its subsidiary, CIS. Company officials remain optimistic, suggesting that earnings recovery is anticipated as CIS strengthens its technological competitiveness in electrode processing.